All right, so this is the so in honor of um, the third anniversary of Amphibia, and also still in line with the 10th anniversary of Gravity Falls, and also doing this. This is the only time I'm ever going to do this, so enjoy it. Don't ask me to do this again. Don't ever bring it up, because I'm not qualified. If you want to talk to someone about this subject, go talk to the Mount Vernon kid. So, yeah, this is a fun fanfiction idea in that we're going to be doing a wrestling AU. Mostly because I used to be a fan of wrestling, and as a kid, and I just dropped off, and I never went back. But I do have my knowledge. I do have some knowledge and stuff I picked up from Chris, the Mount Vernon kid. And again, this is the first and only time I'm ever going to do this, so you better all enjoy it. you all better like lap it up while you can. So this story basically is a wrestling AU, and essentially what it is, there are a lot of story arcs that go on throughout this AU, but the main focus is that Anne, in this universe, Anne and Sasha have been more or less training and practicing, and their whole goal is to be wrestlers. They want to be professional wrestlers, and one day they get a breakthrough when they're invited to be part of the main circuit by Marcy. Marcy in this continuity is a writer for this wrestling competition. I'm not gonna do like some it's cartoon wrestling or whatever. No, I just don't have a name for it. I just couldn't think of a name, and I'm not calling it WWE or AEW. So yeah, so Marcy is one of the writers for this wrestling company, and she more or less knows that Sasha and Anne have been training their whole lives to be wrestlers. So she's like, yeah, come on, come on, we're looking for new wrestlers, so you guys should come on. The catch is that Anne is going to be a babyface, and Sasha is going to be a heel. Now, for those who are the uninitiated in wrestling, babyface means you're a good guy in wrestling, and heel means you're a villain in wrestling. So that's kind of the deal. They wanted to be the dream was for Anne and Sasha was to be a tag team. But they could, Marcy's like, well, we're kind of looking for more good guys and bad guys, so this is the only way I can get you in. Now, Marcy does say, maybe we can get you down the road, convince Mark, maybe we can make Sasha do a heel turn, but, for now, it's gotta be, you guys gotta be right, and also, your guys are gonna be rivals. And they're like, what? Yeah, you guys are, that's the only way I could do it. It was, get new rivalry going in the wrestling arena. So the owner of this group is Stan, who is literally like Vince McMahon in this universe. He is like the Vince McMahon of here. He's a CEO, he's the owner, and he did some wrestling in his heyday. And Stan is the owner. He oversees everything, and he does some wrestling from time to time, but for the most part, he's just there to be an asshole and count money. You also have Dipper and Mabel, who are a brother-sister tag team. And I would say that they're kind of like the Hardy Boys. They're like the Hardy Boys, just with but they're good guys. They're babyface rep. But they are pretty arrogant, and the whole ego is that they're actually, it's more like, and now I take it back, it's less like the Hardy Boys and more like Paige and her brother. That's the better one. It's more like Paige and her brother. With Dipper and Mabel. You also have Wendy. She's here. She is kind of like, each wrestler is kind of like based off of, each character has kind of got like that personality of like wrestlers from AEW and WWE, as some from Raw too. Wendy's kind of like Becky Lynch, because of course Wendy would call herself the Man. You have Luz, who goes by the name Azura, and she's kind of like, I'd say she's kind of like the Miz or something, but she's kind of like goes in that whole lucha libre, like a magic, she calls herself the lucha witch, under the persona of Azura. The other thing is that Luz is under the guidance of Ida. Now Ida in here is a former wrestler herself, and essentially what she was the best way to describe Ida in here is like she was like in her time she was like a female Mick Foley, where she would just get her ass like just go through this horrendous punishment and still enjoy herself, and be a crowd pleaser. And Ida is under the wing. Ida has taken Luz, who's gone under the persona of Azura, under her wing. Like, she's taken Luz under her wing, as like trains her and teaches her how to do all this, because she's also a rookie wrestler too. Ida is also Stan's ex-wife in here, and while she's not part of the business anymore, she still hangs out because she wants to and also, like, there's a she's also now married to Rain. Rain in here, they are Rain is a part of the writing staff and a producer for the show. So Rain, they are married to Ida now, and Ida is more or less taking Luz under her wing and teaching her like all the ropes. Like, okay, if you want to get the crowd wild, do this, or do that. But yeah, as for other wrestlers, you have Pen Zero. He's kind of like John Cena or like Seth Rollins or CM Punk, where he's kind of like the bad boy but also like one of the good guys. Sashi here, she's completely scary, and also the world women wrestling champion. She's got the championship belt, and she's less like Maki Ito, because I know some people are like, oh, she's Maki. She's not Maki. She's more like Asuka. But more importantly, actually no, she's more like Liger. And every wrestling fan from the 90s who just heard me say that freaked the fuck out of having her be like Liger. But more aggressive. Like, I'd say like a bit of Asuka in there too. You have as for others, you have also a fun fact is that Pen and Sashi are together, and when they're a tag team group, they call themselves Generation Zero. Boone, Pen's best friend Boone, he's like the Jim Ross. he's because of course you'd see Boone go, by God, and Boone and Gus are our commentators for each match. You have Amity, who is a heel, but the thing is, behind the scenes, she is dating Luz. Amity is dating Luz, who is a babyface, and like she's kind of she's more or less like dragging Stan about, like giving her a heel turn just so like they can't, because the whole thing is like they have to pretend to be character. They have to keep the appearance that they're rivals and enemies, but on the off the stage they're in a relationship. So Amity can't keep doing this because it's going to they're going to break character and cause a lot of backlash. So he's like, just give me a fucking heel turn so I can, be with my girlfriend in public, please. You have Marco in here. He's kind of like, again, like he's kind of like The Miz or something like that, where he's like very fun. Star in here, Star is all like fun, like extravagant costumes, but also has like a savage side to her. I guess you could call her like she's like the Alexa Bliss of this universe. I would say, as for others, you have Toffee is like one of the older wrestlers. He's from that era that Stan and Ida came from, but Toffee is still doing this. It's kind of like Undertaker, or more importantly Sting, where Toffee's kind of like, he's like I said, he's very much like Undertaker or Sting, or actually he's more like Malachi Black, where he is this scary, almost like when he shows like the lights go off and lights come back on, he's there and they're like, oh shit. But Toffee is like he is a heel in here, but he's been doing this a long time. Like, he's one of the older wrestlers who hasn't retired like Ida did. Yeah, you also have Edric and Emra, who are heels, and the Blights, Amity, Edric, and Emra are like a team. Like, they're all like a trio, like a team that just call themselves the Blighted Ones. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to think of like what else was there, but yeah, like the whole story does, like I said, does focus on Anne and Sasha, because Sasha also has another, like Luz has a wrestler like training her, a former wrestler, Grimes. Grimes in here is again another retired wrestler. He's actually like on his way out, but he's taken Sasha under his wing and like kind of teaches her, kind of like mentors her. Whereas Anne doesn't really have like a mentor, but she does have a fan, and that is Sprig. Sprig has basically been following Anne's wrestling career ever since she's done like backyard like kind of wrestling, and now she's hit the big time and is like, this is the coolest thing. I know this person because I went to all of her shows. So there's Sprig. You also has another fun thing is that kind of like I did have like one of the ideas like that could have been, that was kind of going in my head, was that man, I just lost my train of thought. I derailed. That happens a lot. That Dipper actually, kind of like Cody Rhodes did when he became Stardust and everyone hated that. Basically, Dipper kind of does the same thing where he takes on a new character called Cypher, and he wears like yellow and he has like highlights in his eyes to make it look demonic. So yeah, that's how we do Bill Cypher in this universe, is that it's just a persona that Dipper puts on for a story arc. So there you go. There is my wrestling AU. I used all the wrestling knowledge I could muster and applied it to here. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this wrestling AU? Do you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And what characters could you see in like a new version of the in this wrestling AU? What would they be like? What characters would they be like? Stuff like that. And yeah, just comment below, let me know. And as always, if you haven't already, hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.